It's Wednesday, March 4th, and Salem is starting to wake up, not because the danger is over, but because the lies are getting harder to hold together. And here's the chilling part. Wednesday doesn't just move the story forward, it sets up the moment where people realize the truth, too late. Let's start with the warning that could have prevented a disaster. If this were any other show. Marlena Evans can feel it in the air. Xander isn't just planning. He's spiraling into the mindset that always gets him in trouble. The mindset where he believes one bold move can fix everything. And Marlena doesn't warn people for fun. She warns them when she sees the emotional pattern before it becomes a public catastrophe. Because Xander isn't operating from calm logic right now. He's operating from pressure. He's trying to rebuild trust with Sarah Horton, and in his mind, time is running out. Every conversation with Sarah feels like a test. Every small step forward feels fragile, like it could snap the second someone mentions his past. He wants progress. He wants stability. He wants to prove he's different. But here's the problem. When Xander feels judged or cornered, he doesn't slow down and earn trust the hard way. He chooses control, and Marlena sees that coming a mile away. So when she steps in, it isn't just concern. It's a line in the sand. She's essentially telling him, you cannot rebuild your marriage while you're secretly building a scheme. Because if Xander is truly plotting with Kate, then it isn't just risky, it's toxic. Kate's involvement changes the temperature of any decision. Kate doesn't do soft plans. She does plans that win, even if winning leaves bodies behind socially. And Marlena knows Sarah's psychology too. Sarah isn't going to interpret Xander's dirty move as a slip-up. Sarah will hear one message loud and clear: he didn't change. He just learned how to hide it better. That's why Wednesday's tension is razor-sharp. Marlena delivers the warning. Xander listens. But we can feel the battle inside him, because Xander is addicted to the idea that he can outsmart consequences. He thinks he can commit one necessary betrayal, call it strategy, and still go home to Sarah as if nothing happened. But in Salem, the moment you step into the gray, someone shoves you into the dark, and that one move becomes a chain reaction you can't reverse. Mini cliffhanger. Marlena's warning isn't the end of the danger. It's the moment Xander decides whether he's becoming a better man, or just a more convincing liar. Now we shift to a storyline that feels quiet, until you realize it's the kind that can shatter a family overnight. Maggie and Sarah are finally asking questions about Holly's behavior, and the fact that they're asking at all tells you it's serious. Because Maggie doesn't want to believe the worst, and Sarah doesn't accuse without patterns. These two are careful, they watch, they measure, they wait for the moment when, maybe it's nothing, becomes, no, something is wrong. So when they start saying the words, "Is Holly on drugs again?" it means Holly has crossed from normal teen turbulence into something that feels medically, emotionally, and dangerously off. And Sarah is uniquely positioned to see it. She doesn't approach this like a gossip. She approaches it like someone who understands spirals. She may notice mood swings that escalate too quickly, emotional reactions that feel out of proportion, a jittery edge in Holly's energy, a defensiveness that flares when anyone asks basic questions, and that subtle vibe of someone trying to hold themselves together, and failing. Meanwhile, Maggie's fear isn't just about Holly's choices. Maggie's fear is about Holly's future, and how quickly life can derail when the people around you wait too long to intervene. But then comes the tragic dramatic irony. The audience knows Holly is being affected by medication, but not by choice. Holly isn't relapsing. Holly is being manipulated. The real villain is the pill swap. Sophia is pulling the strings, Rachel is being used as the delivery system, and Holly is the one absorbing the consequences, emotionally, physically, mentally. And that's why this storyline is so cruel. Maggie and Sarah are finally getting close to the truth, but they're also in danger of drawing the wrong conclusion. Because if they decide Holly is back on drugs, their next step will likely be confrontation. And confrontation can backfire if it's not grounded in evidence. If Holly feels attacked, she may shut down, lash out, run, lie, or spiral harder out of shame and panic. So Wednesday becomes a tightrope. They're asking the right question, but one wrong accusation could push Holly further away from help. Mini cliffhanger. They're finally paying attention, but are they about to blame the victim instead of finding the culprit? Now we jump to a relationship shift that could turn worry into a real investigation. Ari turns to Tate for help. And on the surface, it sounds simple. Two teens trying to figure out what's wrong with Holly. But the subtext is huge. Because Ari choosing Tate means Ari doesn't trust the adult narrative. She doesn't trust the idea that Holly is just being dramatic. Ari is seeing something real, something unsettling, and she's picking the one person who's close enough to Holly to notice what nobody else sees. Tate has proximity. He has emotional access. He knows Holly's normal rhythms, the way she talks, the way she reacts, the way her moods usually move. So if something is off, Tate is the one person who can say, "No, this isn't her." But here's why this becomes dangerous. The moment Tate starts helping, he's no longer a bystander. He becomes a threat to whoever is pulling strings. And if Sophia and Rachel's operation is still active, then Tate's curiosity could collide with their cover story. Because secrets don't survive investigation. They survive silence. So Wednesday's tension becomes a pressure cooker. What does Ari know that made her reach out? What has Tate already noticed but hasn't admitted out loud yet? Are they going to follow the pill trail, texts, timing, behavior patterns, toward the truth? Or are they going to step right into a situation that explodes in their faces? And we can't ignore the Brady factor. Brady is already close to snapping. So if Tate gets caught in the middle, if Brady sees Tate as part of the chaos, Brady may react first and ask questions later. Which could shut down the investigation before it even starts, or push Tate into hiding what he learns. Mini cliffhanger. Ari asking Tate for help isn't a side moment. It's the first domino. And the next domino could be Brady exploding. Now to the subplot that looks like a casual conversation, but actually functions like a warning siren. Gwen vents to Kat. And in Days of Our Lives, venting is never just venting. Venting is what happens when a character is carrying a secret that's getting too heavy, and their composure starts to fracture. Because think about Gwen's position right now. If she's involved in EJ's pod situation, she's standing near something that feels too big to be safely contained. The kind of secret where one wrong sentence, one wrong mood, one wrong listener, can unravel everything. So when Gwen vents, what we're really watching is pressure escaping. And pressure never escapes cleanly. It escapes in fragments, half-truths, loaded hints, emotional slips, sudden defensiveness. Gwen may not say, "There's someone in a tube." But she might say something that points to it, that EJ is acting strangely confident, that he's keeping major things hidden, that something life-changing is about to happen, that she doesn't know if she can trust what he's telling her. And that's where Kat becomes dangerous. Kat matters because she's an outsider. She's not emotionally invested in protecting the Demera storyline the way insiders are. She doesn't have loyalty goggles on. She doesn't have decades of "this is normal for Demera's" conditioning. So Kat is the person who can hear one vague sentence and ask the one follow-up question Gwen isn't prepared for. That creates the suspense. Does Gwen accidentally reveal too much, even a small detail about timing, location, or EJ's behavior? Does Kat start connecting dots between Gwen's stress and the strange rumblings around EJ? Or does Gwen's venting signal something darker? Like Gwen is beginning to suspect she's helping EJ unleash something that won't just shock Salem, it will damage it? Because here's what makes this scene so powerful. Gwen venting suggests she's not fully comfortable anymore. She's not fully in control. She's wobbling between, I'm part of this, and, what did I get myself into? Mini cliffhanger. Gwen may think she's releasing pressure, but she might be leaking the kind of truth that can't be pulled back once it's out. And then we hit the confrontation that can turn rumors into reality. Paulina Price corners EJ. Not casual questions. Not polite curiosity. This is Paulina doing what Paulina does best, pressing until the other person either cracks or slips. Because Paulina is not the kind of woman who senses something off and walks away. If her instincts tell her EJ is hiding something, she's going to push harder and harder until she gets a reaction. And here's the key. Paulina doesn't even need evidence to be dangerous. All she needs is pressure. Because pressure makes people make mistakes. So EJ is forced into a tight corner with only 3 options. Option number 1. Stonewall. He refuses. He deflects. He acts offended. But stonewalling only confirms suspicion, because Paulina hears silence as guilt. Option number 2. Distract. He changes the subject. He offers a different truth. But distraction is risky, because the more EJ talks, the more chances he has to reveal a detail he didn't mean to. Option number 3. Reveal, or partial reveal. He gives Paulina something, either to control the narrative, or to shock her into backing off. And if the truth is as big as it looks, Lexi returning, then even a partial reveal becomes a bomb. This is why Wednesday has that squeeze before the reveal energy. Paulina presses, EJ dodges, and every dodge makes her more determined. Because Paulina isn't just thinking, EJ is hiding something. She's thinking, if EJ is hiding something this big, it's going to impact Abe. It's going to impact the town. And it's going to impact her. And if EJ's secret really involves Lexi Carver, Paulina's reaction won't just be shock. It'll be personal, because Lexi's history connects to Abe's emotional past. That changes the landscape of Abe's life, and by extension, Paulina's world. So this isn't just, Paulina interrogates EJ. This is Paulina sensing a quake under her feet and demanding to know why the ground is shaking. Mini cliffhanger. Paulina's questions aren't just annoying EJ. They're pulling the countdown closer to 0. And EJ may have fewer exits than he thinks. So that's Wednesday, March 4th, the day Salem starts asking the right questions, and stepping on the wrong landmines. Because look at what's happening. Marlena warns Xander, but Xander may still believe he can win without consequences. Maggie and Sarah start investigating Holly, and the suspicion is rising fast, maybe too fast. Ari pulls Tate into the mystery, and that alliance could expose the pill plot, or trigger Brady's fury. Gwen vents to Kat, and that emotional crack may turn into a leak that spreads. Paulina corners EJ, pushing the pod's secret closer to eruption with every question she asks. And what makes Wednesday so suspenseful is that none of these storylines are isolated anymore. They're tightening together like a net. So now I want your theory. Do you think Xander will actually listen to Marlena, or will he prove Sarah right by playing dirty again? And with Holly, do you think Maggie and Sarah will uncover the pill swap soon, or will they wrongly blame Holly first and push her further into chaos? Drop your best guess in the comments, because Wednesday isn't just about drama. It's about the moment suspicion turns into certainty, and certainty turns into fallout.